All right, chapter 1, section 3. We are going to be writing an equation of a line. So we have two different types of equations of a line. If we were given the slope, which is m, and the y-intercept, which is b, we would use slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. So that is our slope-intercept form. If we were given the slope and a point, we would use point-slope form, which is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So that is point-slope form. Those are two different equations of a line. It depends on what we are given, but we could use either one. Sometimes the equation will say, write an equation in point-slope form. It'll specify what type of equation it wants. And then sometimes we can be given 2 points. So if we were given 2 points, we would first use the slope formula to find m, and then use point-slope form with either given point. So our slope formula is m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So it's the change in y's over the change in x's. So we would just take our 2 points and plug in all of our values. So these are the three equations that you need to know for this section. Example 1 says write equations in slope-intercept form. So our slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m is our slope and b is our y-intercept. So in this question, it gives us the slope and the y-intercept, so we just need to plug them both in. So we have y equals negative 3x plus 1/2. And that is our answer. So we're just plugging in our slope for the m and plugging in the y-intercept for the b. All right, let's look at the next one. So again, it gave us the slope and the y-intercept. So I'm going to plug those into my equation. So I have y equals, what's my slope? 0. So 0x plus, what's my y-intercept? Negative 2. But we wouldn't put a plus negative 2. We would just change it to minus 2. And what is 0x? Just 0. So we don't even need that. So we can just say y is equal to negative 2. All right, in example 2. We're using graphs to write equations. So it says write each equation of the line in slope-intercept form. So again, our slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So for slope-intercept form, I need my slope and I need my y-intercept. So given a graph, how can I find my slope? Rise over run, awesome. So I could just pick any 2 points on my graph here, and I can count my rise over run. So one way we can find our slope is the formula, or we can use rise over run. So if I count from 1 point to the other, I'm going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my rise is 6. My run would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Can I simplify 6 over 4? What does it simplify to? 3 over 2. So that's my slope. Next, I want to find the y-intercept, or my b. So my y-intercept is where my graph crosses the y-axis. So what is the y value when my graph crosses the y-axis? At what value on the y-intercept here, the y-axis? My graph crosses at negative 3, this point right here, negative 3. So my b is negative 3. So I'm going to plug my slope and my y-intercept into my equation. So I have y equals 3 over 2x minus 3. That's my answer. Right, for the next one, I'm going to do the same thing. So first thing I want to do is find my slope. So I could use rise over run between my 2 points, or I could use the formula. So for this one, I'm going to use the formula just to make it a little bit different, and so we can have some practice with our formula. So my formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So it doesn't matter which point is our first point and which one's the second, but x comes before y. So this is my x1, y1, x2, y2. We plug everything in. So I have negative 1 minus 2 over 4 minus 0. So this would be negative 3 over 4. So there's my slope. Next, I want to find my y-intercept. So at what value does my graph cross the y-axis? 2. It crosses right here at 2. 1, 2. So my b would be 2. So when I plug everything in, I have y is equal to negative 3 over 4x plus 2. Yes? B is where your graph crosses the y-axis. So my y-axis is here, and then my graph is here. So where they intersect is at 2. So next, we need to write an equation in point-slope form of the line that passes through the point and has the slope of 1/4. So point-slope form is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So the point that was given is going to be my x1 and my y1. My slope is my m, and I just plug everything in. So I have y minus 3 is equal to 1/4 times x minus negative 8. What happens when I have a minus negative? Becomes a plus. So if you have a minus negative number, you turn it into a plus. And that is my equation. All right, let's look at A. Here we need to write an equation of a line in point-slope form that passes through 1, 3 and has a slope of 2. So my equation in point-slope form is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So my point is going to be my x1 and my y1, and my slope is my m. So I have y minus 3 is equal to 2 times x minus 1. So that is my equation in point-slope form. Now, what if this question asked for slope-intercept form? My slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. But I don't know what my b is. I don't know what the y-intercept is. How do you think I could make this equation look like y equals mx plus b?
By distributing the 2 and then adding the 3.
Awesome. So I want to solve for y. So I'm going to get it to be y equals and just have everything else on the other side. So I need to distribute the 2. So that would be 2x minus 2. And again, I want to solve for y, so I have to move that 3 to the other side. So I'm going to add 3. So y equals 2x plus 1. So that would be my points, my slope-intercept form. So this question didn't ask for slope-intercept form, but there are some questions in the homework where it only gives you a point and your slope, and it asks for slope-intercept form. So you have to put it in point-slope form first, and then rearrange your equation. So if it doesn't give you the y-intercept, you have to put it in point-slope form first. Then just solve for y. Does So it's just an extra step. All right, let's look at B. This one again asks for point slope form. But here it gives us 2 points. So my point slope form is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So I have a point, but I'm missing my slope. So how can I find the slope? Yes. Perfect. I plug it into my slope formula. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I'm going to label my points to make it a little bit easier to plug in. So I have x1, y1, x2, y2. 7 minus 1 over 5 minus 2. So this would be 6 over 3. And what does 6 over 3 simplify to? 2. So my slope is 2. And then do I have a point already? Yeah, I have 2 of them. So I'm going to pick one of them to plug into my equation. It doesn't matter which one. If you pick the other one, your equation will look a little bit different, but it'll be the same. So it doesn't matter which one. So I have y minus y1, which is 1, is equal to 2 times x minus 2. And that is my point slope form. Now let's say this question wanted slope intercept form. So how could I find slope intercept form? Awesome. Distribute the 2. So that would be 2x minus 4. So my y minus 1 is equal to 2x minus 4. Now what can I do next? Add 1 to the other side. So y is equal to 2x minus 3. And that is our slope intercept form. So it says a graph shows the distance asteroid 2012 DA14 travels in seconds. Write an equation of the line and interpret the slope. So first thing we're going to do is write an equation of the line. It doesn't matter which type of equation. It didn't specify here, so we could put it in point slope form or we could put it in slope intercept form. It doesn't matter. I'm going to say let's do slope intercept form. So y equals mx plus b. So I just need my slope and my y-intercept. So given my graph here, how can I find the slope? I could use rise over run, or I could use my formula. So rise over run, or use the formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. If you use rise over run here, be careful. So we pick 2 points. I'm going to say 0, 0, and 5, 24. How much am I going up if I start at 0 and end here? 24. So my rise here is 24. Even though I'm going up 6 tick marks, it's 24. So my rise is 24. And then let's look at our run. So if I start at 0 and I end here, the bottom, my tick marks go by 1, so that would be how many? 5. So my slope is 24 over 5. Now I also need my y-intercept, my b. So remember, the y-intercept is where our graph crosses the y-axis. So where do we cross the y-axis? At 0. So my b is 0. So I plug everything in. I have y is equal to, my slope is 24 over 5 times x plus 0. Do I need the 0? 24 over 5, yes. No, I do not need the 0, so I can erase that. So don't put the plus 0 in your answer. So my equation is y equals 24 over 5x. All right, the next thing this question asks for is to interpret the slope. So looking at my slope, 24 talked about the rise here. So my y values. 24, so it's on the y-axis. What does the y-axis talk about? The distance in miles. So we're going 24 miles. And then what does the 5 talk about on our x-axis? The time in seconds, so 5 seconds. So somebody in the last class said, dang, they can run 24 miles in 5 seconds? Is this talking about a person running?
No.
What is it talking about? An asteroid. So to interpret the slope, we just need a little sentence to talk about what our slope means. So our slope is talking about the asteroid. We're saying the asteroid is going 24 miles per 5 seconds. So we could say there's many different ways you can write your sentence, but just make sure you mention the asteroid. So you could say the asteroid travels 24 miles in 5 seconds. So it's important to talk about the asteroid, the miles, and the seconds. So you can say your sentence however you want, but these are the 3 keywords. The last part of this question says the asteroid came within 17,200 miles of Earth in February 2013. About how long does it take the asteroid to travel that distance? So we're trying to find the time, and it gave us the miles. So I'm going to use my equation. What am I going to plug 17,200 into? The x or the y?
The y.
Why the y?
Because that's what we're trying to find.
Because the y is in what? What is it? It's distance. The y talks about the miles, and 17,200 is talking about the miles. So that gets plugged into the y. So I have 17,200 is equal to 24 over 5x. And then we can just solve for x to find how long it takes, the time. All right, this question's asking us to do the same thing, but it's just a different example. So it says the graph shows the remaining balance y on a car loan after making x monthly payments. Write an equation of the line and interpret the slope and y-intercept. What is the remaining balance after 36 payments? So let's do one thing at a time. Let's first write our equation of the line. So my equation can be in slope-intercept form, so y equals mx plus b. So I need my slope and my intercept. How do I find my slope here? Rise over run, or I could use the formula.
y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1.
Okay, if I use my formula, it'd be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So if I said rise over run, I'm going down from 18 to 15. So I'm going down 3. So it'd be a minus 3 for my rise. And my run, I'm starting at 0 and going to the right 10. So negative 3 over 10. If you took these 2 points and plugged them into your formula, you'd have the same thing. Next, let's find our y-intercept. Where does our graph cross the y-axis? At 18. So now we can plug both of those in. So I have y equals negative 3 over 10 x plus 18. So that's our equation. That's the first part of this question. All right, next it says to interpret the slope. So our slope is the change in y over the change in x. So y is talking about what? the thousands of dollars. So it's negative 3 thousands of dollars. And then 10, our x-axis is talking about what? The number of payments. So going back to our question, it says the graph shows the remaining balance y on a car loan after making x monthly payments. So I could say the balance, is it increasing or decreasing? It's decreasing because it's negative 3 and our graph is going down, so the balance decreases. Is it just $3? $3,000. After how long? After 10 payments or 10 monthly payments, because here it says making X monthly payments. So after 10 monthly payments. So that is how we interpret the slope. This question asks us also to interpret the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is here. When our monthly payment was 0, our y was 18. So what does that mean? So we're talking about a car loan. So at the start, how much was the loan? How much? $18,000. So to interpret the y-intercept, I would say the car loan started at $18,000. Or you could say, again, the balance started at $18,000. Okay, and the last part of this question is, what is the remaining balance after 36 payments? So 36 is talking about the payments. Is payments my x or my y? The x. Payments is down here on the x-axis. So 36 is going to get plugged into the x. So I have y is equal to negative 3 over 10 times 36 plus 18. Now this one's actually doable numbers, so we're going to multiply it out. We're going to solve for y. What do I need to do first to solve for y? Perfect. So I'm going to multiply. So I'm going to make it 36 over 1. How do I multiply fractions? Straight across. Multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators. So negative 3 times 36 would be negative 108. And 10 times 1 is just 10. Now how do I add fractions? What do I need? A common denominator. So I'm going to make this 18 over 1. And how can I make 18 over 1 have a denominator of 10? Multiply both by 10. So I'm going to make it 180 over 10. And now I just add the numerators together and keep the denominator the same. So negative 108 plus 180 would be 72 over 10. Can I simplify this? What goes into both 72 and 10? 2. So it would be 36 over 5. So 36 over 5 is talking about the remaining balance. It would be 36 over $5,000, whatever that value is.